Hello again, my friends on YouTube. Today, actually, I normally speak just from my head. I prepare the subject and I speak randomly of what I prepared. However, few people ask me or send me messages why you do not give uh, evidence to what you're saying, either from Quran or from Hadith. Okay. We will do that at this time, so sometimes I'll have to look at my notes, so please bear with me. And today's title is, we're going to discuss the character of Muhammad. And the reason I chose the subject, because Muslims in general believe that his character is the best character of all of humanity. And Quran, his book, the book he wrote, testify to that. So we're going to examine that. We start by Quranic verse, chapter 68, section 4. The translation of that verse, it says, testify to Muhammad that he is of the best character. He's the finest character. By the way, let me start, because it's Ramadan. We celebrate Ramadan drinking good coffee. We don't forget that we have to celebrate. Okay. إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That means you are really on the top of the top of the top in terms of character. I really don't have a problem with that. If you are a good person with a good character, that would be good. That more and more human beings of good character, the more we have people of good character, the better the world will be. I have no problem with that. The question is, let's examine whether this statement is right or wrong. That is the question. Also, there are hadith, Muhammad testifying that he is a good person. So we start with that chapter 68, verse 4. It testified to Muhammad that he's a person of the highest character. Good. Okay, in hadith, I don't know, most people will really not understand that. But anyway, in a book called Sahih al-Bukhari, page 665, Muhammad is speaking one of his conversation of hadith, talking about himself. He says, I came to bring the highest standard of character. Again, I have no problem with that. So Quran testifies to Muhammad that he is on the highest level of character, and Muhammad testified to himself in hadith that he came as a person who came with a good character to be an example for humanity. Okay. In one of the incident, one person was talking to Muhammad, and he was asking Muhammad, please, in your prayer, curse the non-believers. Curse them in your prayer. So Muhammad responded, and he said, I did not come to curse. I came as mercy for mankind. That is great. I hope and I wish that each and every human being is a mercy for his fellow human being. If we do that, believe me, the world will be a much better place than what it is now. We will never have Al-Qaeda, we'll never have Boko Haram, we'll never have ISIS. All right? So let's examine further. This is, I wrote the references, but it will not help if you're not a Muslim and you know these books. It will not help you so much. In another incident, Muhammad was saying, لا ينبغي للصديق أن يكون لعانا. That means, the translation of this, it is not appropriate for a godly man to curse. That's very good. I hope not just the godly man, I have the ungodly man and women. Don't curse. I'm for that. That's all wonderful. The question is here now, let's examine, because it's easy to talk, but we're going to examine the action. All right? That's what really determines whether you are a person of a good character or evil one. One person, his name Mas'uk, he was talking to the wife of Muhammad, the young girl that he married when she was 6 and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old child. He started to have sexual relationship with her. That's of the good character, to have sexual relationship with a 9 years old. And the Muslim clerk are trying hard to justify that by saying, oh, they used to mature early. But in the same hadith, they say her mother, Aisha's mother, took her from the swing where she was playing with her friends, a child playing on the swing. When you are mature, when you become an adult, you don't normally go and play with your friends on the swing. And she took her to give her to Muhammad to consummate the marriage, to have sexual relationship with him. That's just on the side here, as a person of good character. Anyway, back to our main subject. That Aisha, that lady, I don't know how old was she back then. Two Muslim people came to Muhammad and they talked to him. They spoke with him in his home. He became angry and he cursed them. And they left. So Aisha asked Muhammad, what's happening? Why are you upset and angry and you curse? These are Muslim people. Why do you curse them? Why do you shout at them and curse them? That means he cursed. Of course, he found a way out, that he made a deal with God that whoever he curse, it will be like to help him on the day of judgment to receive grace. Okay, whatever. Muhammad used to curse people and tribes by name in his own prayer. Okay. I wrote I don't think it would help much with a person who speaks English. Anyway, in one of hadith, it speaks when Muhammad used to pray the morning prayer, the early morning prayer before the sun rises. Okay, when he gets up, they do this bow. When he gets up, as he gets up, he will curse so and so and so and so and so and so by name. Curse them in the prayer, not as a sign of anger. Let's say a normal person, let's say he upsets me or something and they tell him go to hell. That's not in a prayer. That's not in a prayer. But during the morning prayer, the early morning prayer, you dedicate time to see people cursed. And this is supposed to be not a person of a good character, this is the finest character. Somebody can put this together for me because I cannot. Muhammad was cursing whole tribes. He will actually in his prayer will curse a tribe, few tribes by name, the whole tribe, man, woman, and children, men, women, and children. And I mean, for any sane person, why do you curse a little child? What did he or she, that little child, do to wish him a curse? And you declare that you are a mercy for mankind and the person of the best character. Nowadays, we also see Muslim clerks when they pray, for those who know Arabic or learned Arabic, they curse the Christian, the Jews, their children. They curse anyone who opposes them. Not only that, the Sunni Muslim will curse the Sunni Shiite, and the Sunni Shiite will curse the Sunni Muslim. They are both Muslims. But if you do not follow my direction, I will ask God to burn you alive. So some people, when they used to pray with Muhammad, they used to hear him. He would pray to God to bless certain people. I have no problem with that. You can pray to bless everyone. That's okay with me. But let's say you want to pray and say, God bless my father, God bless my sister, God bless my mother. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with you asking God to bless people. Or even if you ask God to bless your enemy. I have no problem with that. The thing is, after he finished, he would say, then after he blessed these people or pray for their blessing, he would ask God to, the word is really hard to translate, like, make my enemies suffering, terrible suffering. And he will mention them by name. And not only that, he actually took an example of the story of Joseph when he was in Egypt, and he had the Pharaoh had a dream that Egypt will go through 7 years of abundance and 7 years of scarcity. So he used to pray to God that he will make his enemy go through that difficulties of no food or water, so that they will be humiliated, and when they are humiliated, they will come to him asking for help, and then he will tell them, first you have to become Muslim and follow me. I don't know how, if this is a good character, how can you act like this? Also, he used to pray. The Islam came in an area in Arabia where it is so dry and hardly any rain. But there were certain spots that they were oases, so these people really depended heavily on the rain for their crops. So they used to do prayer. Most of these people were Jews who lived in these areas, and they were farmers. So they used to have a prayer for God to bring the rain, because when they have the rain, then they have crops, they can live. So Muhammad used to pray that the rain comes to us, he send us the rain, and on our enemy, let them die of thirst. So, something to consider about the highest character of mankind. He also cursed. His life was cursing this and that. A life of curse, not good character. He used to curse the people who, I'm not really big, or even I don't believe in tattoo. He cursed the people who have tattoo on their body, and the people who make the tattoo, who work in the tattoo industry. Okay? I'm not for the tattoo, but it doesn't mean when I see a person who he or she has tattoo, I would curse them. None of my business. They are happy with their tattoo. Let them be happy. What does that bother me? Why is that bothering me? No, but if you do not follow what he says, then you ought to be cursed. Okay? He cursed the women who fix their eyebrows. Most women, I mean, it is natural. I mean, even men, when they go to the barber shop, if there is extra hair, they remove it. He cursed the people who fix their eyebrows and the person who makes it for them. And for example, when my kids were young, when they were small, you take them to sometimes if the teeth are not 100% straight, you take them to the dentist they make them braces. He cursed those who fix their teeth, because he was saying, you're altering God's creation. But actually, we're altering God's creation in many ways too. Not just in our faces, but when you have a garden and you plant the flowers or whatever, the grass, and you cut your flowers in certain shape to grow in a certain shape, you are actually changing the way the flower bush growing. But you are doing that with the intention to make it beautiful. Or if you leave it to go wild, then there is no harmony in your garden. The same thing. I shave in the morning so I can look presentable and I look good to the people that I meet. I'm altering God's work? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay? So will they be cursed too? Anyway. And he encouraged his disciples or his followers, the gangster around him, to do what he said. Okay, one person was saying he heard that Muhammad said, in the last days there will be men going to the mosque, coming down from their saddle, the saddle of the horse or the camel or the donkey or what have you. Huh? He didn't know. He's talking to a bunch of Bedouin, and he had that Bedouin mentality that will always ride camels and donkeys and horses. So 1400 years later, after his death, people still ride horses and camels. We will go to the mosque, get off the horse saddle or the camel saddle, and men will have their women dressed naked. Dressed naked or almost naked. He said, when you see these women, curse them. I am not advocating women, men or women, to go around naked. I don't like it, I don't do it. But look, if a man or a woman wants to expose their body, is none of my concern. Why does that bother? I mean, it is wrong, but that does not mean I go around cursing them. In the Quran, At-Tawbah, I think it is chapter 5, 30. Muhammad cursed the Jews, all the Jewish people, all of them. And that's not in his time. That's continuing until today. When Muslim clerks pray in the mosque, they curse the Jews altogether. Okay? And the Christian altogether, because they did not follow Muhammad. How many billions are you cursing? And of course, because he did not have much contact with the Buddhists, and which is a huge religion in terms of number. I mean, if he knew of them, he would have cursed them too. He's cursing everybody. Anyone who doesn't agree with him, he would curse him. And consequently, his followers and the Muslim clerks in the mosque are cursing everybody. Because Muhammad was the example. For any Muslim, Muhammad is the example. So Muhammad is cursing. All Muslims have to curse. The Jews, the Christian, the woman who has tattoo, the man who has tattoo, anyone who doesn't walk in the footsteps of Muhammad. So he cursed the Jews and the Christian, and he said, God also cursed them. God cursed the Jews and the Christians, according to Muhammad. The worst thing is when he was about to die, he was on his deathbed, And what I know, when people come at the end of their lives, if your great grandfather or great grandmother had a dispute with you, with your brother or sister, or what have you, or with the neighbor, near the end, people's attitude normally change. And even if they don't believe in God, they say, you know what, it is the end. There is no need for that anymore. You know what, I was mean to my neighbor, or my neighbor was mean to me. But anyway, I want to see my neighbor before I go. Please call him or her. So either I forgive him or I ask him to forgive me so I can go in peace. Yet Muhammad, when he was dying on his deathbed, instead of doing that, he cursed the Jews and the Christians. After he kicked them out of Arabia, I really cannot understand. I mean, if he was a twisted person, I understand. There are many twisted people. My problem is with the people who do not see these things and they repeat. The Muslim they wake up in the morning and still until now take him as a person of a good character, to follow him as an example. That's my problem. Hitler was a twisted man. Karl Marx was a twisted man. But I don't have to follow them. There are many twisted people throughout history. But we recognize them that they were twisted, and okay, it was bad time in human history and we don't have to follow him. We just study him for the sake of history. My problem is with these Muslim people, when they read all that, where is your head? One more thing also. Muhammad, he commanded his followers to curse. A man or a woman, like for example, especially in the Middle East region, but also India and Israel, they have pride in their lineage. They tell you, I am the son of so and so. Even I think it's also in the Old Testament. You have like the family tree. People are proud of their family tree. Even some of their great grandparents were not the best, but still they keep the family tree. That this is so and so, his father so and so, grandfather so and so, until it goes all the way to Abraham. That's a tradition. So Muhammad told them that tradition was also because the Jews and the Arabs are cousins. So the Arabs had similar tradition. They also use similar way. This is son of so and so, son of so and so, son of so and so, until you go all the way to Ishmael, to Abraham. So Muhammad came and told them, whoever show pride in his lineage, and if you have some children listening, please get them out, because this is very heavy language. Please tell them to leave the room. Okay. So Muhammad told them, whoever exhibit that pride of his lineage, tell him without shame, go and bite your father's sexual organ. But he didn't use that word like sexual organ. He used the most vulgar word that you can use. So if you speak English, look for the most vulgar word for the male sexual organ and put it in the empty space. If you are French, if you are Jewish, if you are Hebrew, whatever language you speak, find the most vulgar word is used for man's sexual organ and tell the person, go and bite your father, that. Okay. One of Muhammad's followers later on, he heard one person still talking about his ancestors, his lineage. So he told him, go and bite your father's that. Then the people were shocked. So why are you shocked? The Prophet commanded us to do that. So he was not just vulgar, he commanded people to be vulgar. Another situation, Muhammad was in a meeting with another person. His name is Urwa. And as they were talking, this man was telling Muhammad, if you do that, then many people will leave you. So Abu Bakr, the first follower of Muhammad, was in the room during the meeting. He got upset. So he said to this man, while he interrupted the conversation between Muhammad and this man, Abu Bakr told him, go, that's one more time, that's vulgar. If you have children, remove them from the room. He told this man, go. Back then there were statues in Mecca. One of these statues she was a goddess woman called Allat. So Abu Bakr, the first follower of Muhammad in Islam, told this man, go and suck the goddess Allat sexual organ. But also he used the most vulgar word in front of Muhammad to scold this man, to tell him, go and do this. Go and do this. And this is the highest character that Muslims are talking about. Wake up. And at the end, there is hadith that says Muhammad was so polite and so shy to a point he even looked like a young virgin girl, a shy young virgin girl who doesn't like to be in the spotlight. Sorry. How can you put this together? I don't know. After you say all these things and you do all these things, and then you talk about yourself that you are like, or rather somebody describes you, one of his followers, as one of the most polite women, polite man, almost like a virgin girl, young girl. It is hard. But anyway, this I'm hoping Muslim people think and consider. One more thing about the highest character and the best character came to humanity. Muhammad was having a meeting with his people, the top people, the generals, whatever. And a pretty woman passed by. What he did is he left the meeting, went to one of his wife, I guess she was the one available at this time, and she was cooking something. He told her to stop. And that woman was the woman that he took from his son, from his adopted son. She was a pretty woman, and he took her from his adopted son, and he married her himself. In the meeting, when he saw a pretty woman, he left the meeting, went to his wife, Zainab. Her name was Zainab. And he had sexual relationship with her and returned to the meeting. And instead of confessing his weakness and his twisted head, his excuse was, woman comes in a form of Satan and lives in a form of Satan. So he saw that beautiful woman, she looked like Satan. So he went to his wife, released himself, and came back because she was Satan. And he told them, anybody, any of you guys, when you see a pretty woman like that, this is Satan. Go to either your wife or one of your slave girls and release yourself there. Very good character. One more thing is actually, this is in Quran 108 verse 3. This was a person who was angry with Muhammad. Probably he was not religious or a person of good character, probably so, we don't know. But he was telling Muhammad, you have no lineage, you have no sons, you have no posterity for the future. So God himself intervened and came to respond to this man, telling Muhammad, no, don't worry. Your enemy, he is the one without posterity. God, from his lofty place, had time to come to defend Muhammad, to respond in his place, to tell this guy, Muhammad's enemy, you are the one who is without posterity. That Muhammad cursed people and he cursed tribes, he cursed men, women, he used vulgar words, and the Muslim, unfortunately, claim that Muhammad, he can say anything about himself. I can be a terrible person and I can still proclaim myself the best of humanity. Many people do that. Many people praise themselves. That's not my problem. My problem when 1.5 billion people accept this nonsense. That's my problem. And my heart for you is, please think. Don't take my word. Think. Is that a person of good character? Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.